first of all, how you feeling? Like the ribs, 3 extra days been really good for that. I saw you were down on the injury report. So.
Yeah, well, that's good. Yeah, no, yeah. There's still like little treatments and things I got to do, but at this point, playing the game full and all that, I wouldn't think I'd be on there. I knew I was going to practice today. There was no like re-aggravations. So that was nice. First time in a minute I didn't like land on the shoulder or so that was good. So I needed that. But I feel better this time this week. Definitely than I did last week. But sort of like everybody else.
And when you reviewed that game, reviewed the tape and everything, did you feel, I know you wanted to fight through a lot of ailments at once, but do you feel like it affected you in any way or limited you in any way?
If I can be out there, I'm going to do my best to be out there for my team. And for our organization, I made a promise that if I can be out there, I'm going to do everything that I can. And I was taught a long time ago by a coach, if you can be out there for your teammates, especially at quarterback, it says a lot, for your teammates and for the coaches. I even had a few coaches come up to me from the defense side of the ball, a couple of defense players this morning at breakfast, like, hey man, I appreciate that, and maybe I wasn't at my best, but that kind of respect goes a long way, in building unity and building a team. So, I don't think anyone's at their best right now. It's this late in the year, but I just tried to be out there for my guys.
Derek, I'm assuming you've gone up against a Wink Martindale defense a couple times.
Yeah.
What are kind of the hallmarks of that, especially with the amount of blitzes?
Oh my goodness, he's an unbelievable coach. I have so much respect for him and their scheme. Make it very difficult on quarterbacks. You can see that, this season, especially the past couple of weeks. They make it really difficult, and not only schematically, but they have good players. It's one thing to have one or the other, but both. They have good talent mixed in with that, and it's one of those games where it's mentally draining. At the end of it, it's like when I talked about playing, Belichick. It's one of those days where there's so much mentally going on that. At the blink of an eye, you wouldn't even see it or know, but that Mike points in this and who's in and what personnel and this and that, decisions and blitzes and protections, and he makes it really difficult. But I've always had a lot of respect for him.
Is that just like from a disguise standpoint you're talking, and just like saying what's a different ways?
Yeah, disguise. Personnel wise, making you see one thing and doing another. I know in Baltimore they used to have all those rushers they'd put out there, and you didn't know which one was rushing and which one was dropping. It makes it tough on a mic point, makes it tough, and he's been doing that for years, and so he's doing the same kind of things with disguises, holding shells, holding looks, and he's got those guys bought in, and they're doing a really good job.
Derek, what's it been like kind of dealing with what you're dealing with physically every 2-3 weeks, not being able to kind of get into a rhythm, I guess, physically, and also second, how much will it help to have Rashid back on the field? Yeah,
well, first with Rashid, I'm excited that he was out at practice and he looked really good, so I am excited about that. And then secondly, physically, I like I told Vilma did the game last week. I told telling him and telling some other. It's been frustrating for me. It has. It's been very frustrating. Whenever every week is something different or dealing with something. But I learned a long time ago. At the end of the day, nobody cares. You got to do your best. You're going to have to answer tough questions when those happen because of those things, and you're going to have to deal with stuff. But you do your best to be out there for your teammates at practice. You do your best to be out there at the games and give it your best shot. And that's what I've been trying to do that all year.
Derek, I feel like this team talked about backup quarterbacks on the opposing team probably every year, and the latest one's on DeVito. I'm sure you saw the Monday night game. Just the energy and the spark that he seems to provide for the team.
Yep.
What have been your impressions of what he's done these last 2 games?
Man, he's done a great job of protecting the football and making plays. With the abilities that God has blessed him with. And he's done a fantastic job leading them and leading that team. I've been in that stadium, when my brother played there, and that's a great atmosphere when they're winning and when it's rocking, and you could feel that on Monday night. And to see what he's done. Anytime quarterbacks get their shot and they do well, I'm always going to be their biggest fan unless we're playing them. Because I know how hard it is. To try and make this thing a career. So really happy for him. What he's been able to accomplish, and I'm sure he'll be the first one to tell you he can't wait to keep growing and keep getting better because he's a good player.
Derek, when we're talking about like some of these like shell defenses and taking the deep ball away, should he change that for you a little bit? Like, can he outrun the coverage, I guess? Or
yeah, he can, and he has a couple times this year.
Yeah.
There was I can think of 2 posts that we hit that were quarters looks, shell looks, where when teams play us, some teams play low quarters, but when Rashid's out there, that safety's usually a little bit deeper. He's more apt to let you have that, and there's been a couple times where Rashid has outran that. So it does change some things where maybe there is a single high safety trying to take that ball away, but if he gets too nosy with a guy like that, you can throw it over the head. I remember that we had one to Henry Ruggs, just a guy with that speed. They were playing single high defense. We're playing in Pittsburgh. Single high safety didn't get deep enough, and you can still throw that ball over their head. So it's not something that mentally you make a living doing, but when you have a guy like that, you have to train your mind again. Like, hey, if we get that look as a quarterback, I'm not just so quick to get through that.
How much of that is, kind of a modern thing in the NFL where it seems more and more teams are doing that, where they're just like, okay, take away the deep ball, force teams to have to go 10 plus plays.
Yeah.
Has that been just a change you've noticed throughout your career?
Yes, and one thing I've noticed is things go in cycles, things go in waves, because once that happens, there's going to be an uptick in whatever, call it whatever, tight ends across the middle, and as soon as you want to take that away, okay, now those are back, and as soon as they do this, then this is back. The run game will be more, the pass game's more, and so one thing I have noticed is things do go in waves, because whatever's working, people usually draft that way, they go in free agency that way, and then it goes for a cycle, and they see something new, and then they do that, and so that is one of those things, right? It was easier to get shots off earlier in my career, about 8 years ago, in certain ways. Now you can do it. You just have to be smart about it and do it in different ways. And so finding those matchups, finding those one-on-ones, it's a challenge mentally. But that's why these professional coaches, man, they keep evolving, offensively and defensively. They keep stopping one another. It's really cool.
Of course, you be more patient, I guess, when you're going through that, because you want to be attacking it deep. It's just not the right read.
100%. And we, every quarterback, we're not going to make 100% right reads in every game. It just doesn't happen. But you try your best to be patient through those times and try not to force it. Even last week is a great example. They were doing some good things, staying on top. I mean, shoot, we threw Chris a curl, and the corner was 30 yards deep. And so you wait and you wait and you wait, then we get our chance and we hit our shot to AT. And so there is a bit of a waiting game sometimes. But other teams, if they think you're going to run it, then you can get those things early. So it's so different every game. I wish I could just give you one answer, but it does change.
Derek, you said you learned a long time ago that nobody cares, and that's how you have to respond to things. But
yeah,
has it been challenging for you to, wanting a fresh start in a new place? The results haven't come in. We talked about the crowd reaction and things like that. I mean, does it weigh on you? Is it tough to deal with that stuff? I gotta be honest.
I think the frustrating part is that as a team, we just haven't put it all together at one time. I think early on, like we talked about, we were having our struggles in certain areas, and then like the last, again, forgive me not knowing the numbers, 8 or 9 weeks, we started having an uptick. Last 2 weeks, red zone 7 for 8. So we're doing things better and we're getting better. But this is a team game. Like, we all got to do it all at one time. That's what DA keeps preaching. When we all three phases show up and we do it, it looks really good and it's exciting. So that part comes, man. Like the excitement, all that stuff, that's going to come as we play better and more unified as a team. And winning games always helps that too. Yeah. At the end of that game, it felt really great again. We get in the red zone, get a stop, touchdown. Get a stop, get the ball, boom, touchdown. You felt that energy start coming back. So we got to do a job as players, keeping that, getting that from the start, keeping it through the finish, and everyone will be happy and excited as long as we can just keep winning.
Are you better at dealing with that year 10 than you would have been?
Oh yeah,
in your
absolutely.
career?
I'm a people pleaser. I am. Since I was a little kid, like, I care what everyone thinks. Are you happy? Are you good? Are you good? And I no matter how excellent you try and do your job, no matter how good you try and be in life, all those things, I learned real quick, man, there's still going to be people that don't like you or don't care, or, that kind of stuff. And that was when I was a young player, that was an awakening for me. Like, dang, I'm trying to do everything right. I'm trying to do everything and be a good role model for the kids and all these kind of things. And you learn real quick that that just is what it is. So it's not that you get hardened. You just know. You know what to expect. It's not going to be positive all the time. But it sure was at the end of that game, and hopefully we can keep doing that for our fans, so that we can just have some more good moments.
And obviously, I'm trying to get to the heart of this question, just for like people like my wife who's like, well, what does Derek Carr say about all that? Like have these last 2 games been especially jarring? I mean, that's probably a reaction you haven't even gotten much in your career.
Yeah, I'm not used to that, but I do understand that the expectation is our expectation. So their frustration, that's the way they can show their frustration. My frustration, we show it in our way. And so all of our expectations were so high. And our expectations still should be high. Everything is still in front of us. Again, I keep saying this, man, like, this is the time to do it. This is the time to get hot. Right now, I was on a team where this is when we got hot, and man, that was a great time in our stadium. It was a great energy in the city. And we want to do that for our city. I absolutely love this place, and I told you, I just want to win here. When we were driving through and they're showing me, I just want to win here because I know what it feels like. And so hopefully getting the one last week, hopefully continue that and keep that energy going all the way throughout the rest of the season.
Derek, as you just mentioned, it was 2021, 6 and 7, you won the last 4 games. What would you say were some of the defining characteristics of that team that allowed for that kind of hot stretch down?
It was the closest knit football team, the closest knit any sport team I've ever been on. It was really a unique, special thing. That if anyone was around our building, man, you could feel like the love that we had for each other and that energy. Me and one of our leaders, we sat down at breakfast today, and I could feel this unity. We're talking about things obviously I'm not gonna get into, but it's like it was one of those moments where I'm like, man, this could be it. We got to go do it. And we did not play perfect football at all on that stretch, but one thing we did is, hey, you made a mistake. That's all right. I got your back. Don't worry about it. I make a mistake. Don't worry about it. You got my back. And we had that that was everything that we were, that I believe that's what we have and what we can be, but we have to obviously go prove that.
So what do you think of this matchup when you talk about expectations for both teams, right? The Giants had high expectations. You did. The seasons haven't gone as either team wanted.
Yep.
And yet you're here in the middle of December. Both of you, it looks like quite an opportunity.
Yeah.
So what do you think about, what does that make you expect going into a game like this?
Yeah, for us, I remember my mindset, which is my mindset all the time, but you could feel it, for everybody. It's like you have to treat them all like playoff games. That's the mindset you have to be in. And so you try your best as a leader to instill that to all the young guys, like every week, from here on out, because we have earned this situation. Every week is a playoff game. You got to treat it like that. It's got to feel like that in your preparation, and you're taking care of your body, all that stuff. And I would say that's another thing that I realized in that year was everyone had that heightened sense of urgency. It's something that you could feel at practice today. So I know both sides are feeling that, especially, but we're focused on us and focused on, man, if we can have a great Wednesday, awesome. Can we have a good Wednesday night? Can we have a good, Thursday? All those kind of things, because if you focus on that day-to-day preparation, week to week, then the results come. And so we feel like we're doing this. We've been talking about things we've been really doing better, and things that we're excited about as our team is getting healthier too. So hopefully we can continue that, but it's that playoff game-to-game mindset that we hopefully you can instill into everybody.
Like the Giants were a 2-win team less than a month ago.
That's right.
But you obviously can't look at them right now.
No. I've always told you guys, if everyone watched that game, that defense that we played last week, they have one win, I think. Forgive me, but I think they got one win. But that doesn't feel like a one-win team. That defense is one of the best defenses we played all year. The scheme, the things, the adjustments they make, the players they have. So I never look at just the numbers or the win total. Man, you turn that film on and you get a feel for who's about to show up, in the Superdome.
How much does Jimmy Graham's energy kind of ignite you guys?
Jimmy is one of my favorite teammates I've ever had. He's the same every day, always smiling. And then when we get in between the white lines, he's crazy. He's psycho. If I'm going to be completely honest, one of the worst moments of the game was after that third down catch, and he hugged me, and I felt my rib go like this. And I looked at him and said, Jimmy, I was like, please don't do that again. So then we threw him the touchdown, and he patted me on the head like a little kid. My wife was like, he patted you like you were 12 years old. I was like, yeah, he's 6'8", But his energy that he brings, how much he loves football, how much he loves his teammates, that's something that I really hope some of our young guys are really taking notice, because I've been around some older players, and the best ones are the ones that have that kind of spirit about them. And he's that way. Charles Woodson was that way. Just loved football. You loved being around him. You felt like you were a better player just by being on his team. And Jimmy has that effect on me for sure as a teammate, but I know he has an effect on a lot of guys.
Derek, when you talk about the 7-8 weeks that you feel like things have gone well for the offense, I know it's a team game, but anything specifically for you that you think has clicked better those?
Yeah, I'm getting much better feel of our chemistry and our timing with some of the wideouts and some of the things that we've shown spurts of, like, again, they go back a couple weeks to the Atlanta game. Chris has however many, and then he gets hurt. Man, I really felt like it was going to be an even bigger day for him, And then some of the decisions he's made on routes and we've hit on and connected on, that stuff that takes years of experience to do together, and stuff that I was doing with Waller and Hunter, and we did it in the first year. And I went and hugged him during the drive. I was like, that was freaking awesome, So I see things with chemistry and timing that we're getting better. Obviously, this last game was a little tougher for whatever reason, but hopefully we can continue that as Sheed is getting healthy back and we're getting healthy again. Hopefully we can continue that, because I really have seen how I thought it should look. It's starting to happen on certain things.
Just maybe following up on what Mike was asking about, kind of sorry on those calls.
No, you're good.
The human side of it, of loving the city, wanting to win here,
Yeah.
all that stuff. I mean, your family does go to the games, and for some of us that have been here a long time, Archie joked about that with Cooper.
Yeah.
When he had some tough times here, Cooper famously asked his mom, "Can I boo him too?"
Yeah.
So just out of curiosity, do you tell your kids hey, they just want dad to play that, or do you kind of insulate them from some of the stuff they see at the games?
Oh no, I talk to my kids about everything, because they're there. They're old enough, they're smart, and I will say this: Archie has been great for me. He's reached out many times, and just the encouragement, the support, all those things, and I just been blown away. He can share certain things with me that he experienced, and so he's been unbelievable. Their whole family's been unbelievable for me. And yeah, I talk to my kids. I like guys. At the end of the day, you still got to do your job. I remember the other day, my son was, true story, he's frustrated with his math homework. He's getting really upset at it. He won't even look at the page. Look, son, it's okay. I'm gonna start booing you right now too, And he made him laugh. I was like, it doesn't matter, buddy. Just focus and do your best, man. That's all you can do. Knocked his homework out, and it was just a great lesson for him. It was a great lesson as a dad to be able to teach him. So, look, man, I love everybody, and I'm gonna do my best this week to get everyone excited, complete all the passes I can complete, score all the points that we can score, and I'm gonna keep doing that. I'm gonna keep giving everything that I physically can, everything mentally that I can. To do my best, and I know all of our team is doing that, but we got to give them some stuff to get excited about, and we have in certain halves, but we got to do it as a whole, so we can, keep being positive and keep getting excited about all the fun stuff that we believe that we can do.
One more about Jimmy. When he, in the middle of the season, when he just didn't seem to be part of the game plan for quite a while, got 37 from his career. Would it have been unreasonable for an observer like us, or maybe even a teammate, to wonder, is he going to disengage and just kind of sour on the experience and fade out?
Oh yeah. That's human nature, right?
Yeah.
And even as a team, I've known Jimmy for a short amount of time. Our lockers were right there by each other, and we've become good friends, texting each other, sending each other funny things, all that stuff. And even during all that, your human nature is you realize how, what age he is, what year this is for him. He's not in. How's he going to react? Still as a player, you watch how everyone reacts in the locker room. You still want to learn. You still want to see how they're going to be. And when I tell you this man was out there giving a look for the defense, this man is putting a penny on. This is Jimmy Graham, one of the best tight ends I've ever seen. We've all ever seen. Putting a penny on, giving a look for the defense, making catches, spiking the ball, having fun. I was like, man, you can't take my joy, And we always joke, you can't kill a man that's already dead. Once you're dead to whatever, once you're dead to all that stuff, you can't kill me. I'm going to enjoy this. And Jimmy lived that out, man. It was an ideal situation. He got the touchdown in Green Bay, and it's like, dang, he's probably thinking, man, what happened? All this kind of stuff. But he kept being him, kept being a great teammate. I really can't say any more. I wish I could say even more positive things. It was just amazing to watch him, what he did, and the work he put in for our team.
And that third down, would you say that's the highest you've ever thrown a ball that's been caught?
Oh yeah, him and Waller, him and Waller, for sure. The arms, because where I had to throw that ball, like I was like, I hope he can get there, and he just went up and got it, held on, took the hit, and that was one of the more impressive catches I've seen in my career, especially in that moment. You know, third down, all that.
Just think of it as an alley-oop pass.
That's right. Yeah, he'll go get that. Yeah, every time. More. Good. Thank y'all.
All right.
Yep. Appreciate you.
Derek, I had never heard Fletcher's Cooper Manning's